Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So recently I have given interview to HCL Tech for Angular developer. So these are some front-end questions and I'll start from HTML. I'll answer also. So these are for the experienced person and from you can consider from 3 years to 5 years. These you can expect these kind of questions for your front-end development. Either you are a React developer or Angular. So till here everything is same. After that Angular is for Angular development. So first question was after introduction, what are semantic tags and what are the benefits of it? So we can list down what are the semantic tags. So the semantic tags are nothing but which tell some meaning. For example, we have section, we have header. So instead of using div, we can use those, and those are useful for the search engine optimization because it tells the meaning, and which these are helpful for the screen readers also. So that was my answer. Next is what is local storage and session storage. For local storage you can answer like it is used to store the data in the browser. Local storage does not get deleted when we close the browser, but session storage stores the data only for that particular session. When we close the tab or browser, that data gets removed. So we can use set and get from the local storage and session storage to get or set the data. Next question was what is srcset attribute. This one I was not knowing, so you can search it on Google also, but I read it like we can pass multiple options inside image. For example, image has, I'll show you that example also. So for example, src set. So here if you see in src set, we can pass multiple options for the images. When here we are telling when the size is 480, then the take this image. When size is 800, take this image. So we can give multiple options. So it is helpful in the image optimization for the different screens. Okay, this is the attribute for the image tag. You can answer like that. Next question is what is HTML accessibility. HTML accessibility is nothing but we need, while developing any application, we need to make sure that it should be accessible for all the users, whether they are disabled or not. And for example, we need to give alt in the image tag when the image does not load, or anyone who cannot see image, so that alt text will help them through screen readers. So alt is one thing. Another one is we need to use semantic elements, and we need to use proper colors, proper contrast. We need to use keyboard navigation for it. So these are few things which we need to take care while developing any application for better accessibility. Next question was we have a form with some fields and one extra field is outside the form. On click of submit button, I need to include that extra field inside the form value itself. How to do it? So that I'll show you what he meant. He told, like for example, you have a form here. So for example, you have a form. Now here you have some fields, input 1, input 2. Now outside form and some submit button, right? And outside form you have some another field, that is input 3. Now how will you include this input 3 on click of submit? How will you make this input field as a value of this form? So that you have to answer is you have to give a ID here. Okay, for example, I give some ID user. That ID you have to apply on that input field by using form ID. Once you give that form ID, Then on click of submit button, this value will also be added in this form. Next question. So these were some HTML questions. Next question from the CSS. These two are from SCSS. If you use SAS, you will be knowing it. SAS is a CSS preprocessor, so which is written on top of the CSS, which has some extra things like variables, mixins. So why we use variables, he asked. So I told like variables can be are reusable, and for example, if we are using one variable color in 50 files, and we need to change that color to every file, then we need to go every file and change the color in all the tags. So if we provide variable, then we can change in one place. So in SCSS we can define the variables like this. We can give our color here, whatever default color, it is just example. So dollar, and that name you can give, and you can assign anything to it, and this dollar you can directly use in any file. So this is the use case of variable. Next question was, what are mixins? Create one and how to call it. So mixins are used to like create reusable code actually in CSS, reusable styling. For example, you have two styles everywhere, display flex and flex direction column. These two things you are applying on multiple classes. So what you will do, you will create a mixin. So how to create it? You have to just give a at mixin, and that mixin name, for example, common styling, and then inside this you have to give our that code display flex. Okay, and how to use it? You have to, for example, this is a class, you have to use it as like at include and common styling. So if you call like this, so he asked me to create one and also how to call it, so I have shown like this. Next question from the CSS. What is the difference between Flexbox and grid, and tell some properties. So Flexbox is used for 1D layout, grid is used for 2D layout, and properties are like, for Flexbox we have display flex, flex direction column, flex direction row, justify content, align item, these things. And for grid we have display grid, and gap is there, grid template columns, grid template rows. So you have to list down the properties. What is critical rendering path? This one I was not knowing, so I said I don't know. I'll just show you what is critical rendering path. Actually, what does it say? Critical rendering path refers to the steps involved until the web page starts rendering in the browser. So these are the steps. Critical rendering path are the steps which are involved to load or render complete web page on the browser. So this is the structure. Okay, HTML, CSS, how it goes to DOM, and from there how it render and how it displays, style, layout, paint, all those things. So I was not knowing this answer, so I did not answer this. Next question is, what is cross browser compatibility for CSS? So this is nothing but testing application on multiple browsers for better compatibility. We should know which thing is working in which browser or not. For example, some ES6 features will not work on the older browsers, and WebKit works on Chrome but not on the Mozilla Firefox. So those things you have to mention. So we need to test application on multiple browsers to understand which CSS is not working, and then we have to work on it. Have you used transitions and animations? So I said I have not used much, so I did not tell anything about it, and he skipped that question. So you better to get the idea of some transitions. Transform is there, but I have not used much. What is CSS preprocessor? CSS preprocessor are like SAS, which are used to write CSS in dynamic style. So there we can have it is like mostly useful for like reusability, maintainability. So you can we can have a nested structure of CSS, and those uses you can inform, like you can tell in the preprocessor what is preprocessor and what are the uses. Have you used CSS frameworks like Bootstrap, Tailwind? Yeah, this question also he asked, but I said I am not using it because I am using Angular material, so I am not using these things actually. So next we moved on to JavaScript. What are the data types? I mentioned primitive, non-primitive data types, all the string, boolean, undefined, integer, and in non-primitive we have array, object. What are the control flow statement, like if else, for loop, do while, those things. What are the closures? Write one example. So you have to tell closure. Closure is nothing but the inner function remembers its lexical scope even though the outer function gets executed. So we have to write a example for that. So I'll show you that also. Closure example in here. So for example, this greet function is there. It is inside create greeter. Now create greeter is getting called. So when create greeter will get called, it is returning a greet, that is a function. So that function will store somewhere, like say hello, and we are passing some variable for this one, greeting. Okay, now whenever say hello will be called, right? So every time create greeter is calling, right? So it is returning some function and we are passing one greeting word here. Okay, now that is getting stored. Now even though this function gets executed, it is finished, but that hello is stored in this. Hello is remembered by this inner function. So hello, say hello is storing the inner function. Now when we call that inner function say hello, we are passing actually name here, this alias, and it already remembers that hello from this greeting. So this is the closure. So I have written one example like that. What are the ES6 features? ES6 features are like let, const, and we have template literals, we have destructuring, and we have import export modules. We have yeah, these are the few things which I have mentioned. What are the template literals? Yes, template literals are used to write string and interpolations expressions in the same string itself without like using concatenation. And even though for new lines also we need not to write /n. So for all those things we can write everything inside this backtick. Even we can write string, we can write interpolation, we can write expressions. What is destructuring? Destructuring nothing but we are extracting the key data from the object or arrays and storing it in variables. For example, we have a object, for example we have an object like let user equals to name, age. Now I want name and age separate variables. So what I'll do, I'll just create a const, I'll give name comma same names I have to give, and I'll assign user here. So it will extract all the thing from user and it will store to name and age. Similarly for arrays also you can do it. What are the promises? Right one. Promises are nothing but These are the objects which are used to handle the asynchronous calls. It has 3 states: pending, resolved, and rejected. And he asked me to write one promise. So you can write like this. You can write a function, or you can just write promise only, return promise. And we have inside this, we have 2 arguments, resolve and reject. And then you can resolve here like this, whatever message you want to give, or you can reject here, so based on your requirement. Okay, then when you access it, right, you have to listen to it by using then you can get a response here. You can do whatever you want to do. This is the promise example. And he asked what is promise.all. I said I have not used it, but I know promise.all is used to include multiple promises inside it, and it will wait until all promises are resolved. For example, here I have PR1 promise, PR2 another promise. Then we can subscribe to it like then. We can listen to it using then, and you will get a result as an array. So this result will be as an array of these 2 responses. Next is what is callback hell. Callback hell, I was not having idea, but I read it later. Callback hell, when async and await was not there, then there was a issue. For example, after one particular response, I need to make another call. So at that time we were using multiple calls inside it. We were having multiple functions getting called inside one function. So to overcome that, we came up with the promises or async await. So here, for example, I need to call get user after getting all the list, and I want to get the first user. Then what I will do, I will just subscribe to it dot then, and after getting the response, I will call the get user. Okay, now again in get user also I want to call something. So what I will do, once get user response comes, right, if get user is also a promise, then I will subscribe to dot then again to this get user, and we will get some other details like user dashboard like this. So we can chain multiple promises like this. So it prevents the callback hell. How do we handle errors? So we can use try catch. I have written one example for the try catch also. I'll show you first callback hell example. See, here we have fetch data, process data, save data, 3 functions, and all are asynchronous. Now what is happening here, fetch data is getting called, after fetch data process data is getting called, then save data. So we are merging all the functions one after another. So to overcome that, we can use directly promise or async await. So next question is try catch, like how to handle errors. Try catch handle error example. Okay, so like this, and this try catch you can write inside async await. For example, here in try we are trying to parse JSON. Now when it fails, it will go to catch block. So like this we can catch the errors in JavaScript. What is type guard, type assertion, and enums? I was little bit confused at that time, so I could not answer these 2, but I answered this enums, and we can create enums like this. Actually enums are in TypeScript. Okay, so we can create like this enum direction like this. If we have some values to it, if we don't have any values, we know that north will be north only, or if you want to assign some values like this, then you can give. So these are some kind of constants which we can give to the variable which we want to like define only these particular values. This is enums. Type guards, actually I was not having idea. So type guard are nothing but like before checking any value, we check its type like this, type of, okay, or instance of. So this is called type guard. So here we are checking the value, what kind of type it is, then we process it or we write our logic after that. Next is type assertion. In type assertion, actually we give the like this, as we give as, and we assign some type to it. For example, previously it is any, and now we want to tell compiler that take this value as a string, because we are sure about it. So the compiler will not throw any error while running this code, but runtime may throw error. If for example I gave here as number and I am doing some logic here, compiler will not throw any error, because while compiling it will think the same data type, but when during runtime it will throw the error. Remember this. Next is what are advanced types. So there are so many advanced type like union, intersection, we have generic. I'll show you those advanced types in TypeScript. Actually these are TypeScript questions. So for example, we have one kind of type, this is combined one. So now we have two types, name, age, and we are combining, so these two will be included into it. And if we want to give generic, then one generic example I'll show you. We have this partial also, template, literal types. So I think you should go through it, because you have to understand it properly. What are these? I'll not go into depth. Next is what is difference between type and interfaces. So actually types are given to the variables. Interfaces are preferred for the objects, because we can extend one interface to another interface, but type we cannot extend one type to another type. We can combine them by using and pipe operator, that is called intersection or union. But in interfaces we can extend one interface to another interface. And he asked me to create both type also and interface also. So I'll show you the interface example in TypeScript, how to create it like this. So you can create person interface like this, name column, and that its type. That interface you can use on it any object, and you can assign your values. So this is the example of interface. And now type example. In type we use like this, type person equals to, we use equals to, and rest all things will be fine. The same way that also we can assign to any variable. Next, these were some output based questions. We have console.log null plus 0. So here null will become a 0 and true will become 1. Okay, null always converts to 0 while type coercion. So here type coercion is happening and null is becoming 0, true is becoming 1. So 0 plus 1, it will return 1. Here undefined will always be not a number, okay, and this will be 1, so it will return as a not a number only. Undefined will be not a number. Here also you can consider not a number plus string will become, let me check this, what will be the output. I'll show you here in the, because I was also confused. He asked different scenarios. So undefined false, yeah, undefined will be combined with it. If I show you this one, yeah, not a number. So here it is not getting converted to not a number because it is a string, so it will concatenate to it. And undefined, it is considered as a no value, so it is converting to it. Next is +1. So +1 plus before any string number, it will convert to number only, and +1 plus equals to 2. Next is true will always be 1, and 2 it will become 3. So as I told, null will be 0, so it will be 0 plus 5 5. These were some output questions. Next he came to Angular. What is lazy loading and how does it improve performance? So lazy loading is used when we don't need module, like while loading the application, it loads that particular module or component when we go to that particular page, when we route to it, when we navigate to it. So, and how he asked me to write some lazy loading example for component and module both. So for component you have to use load component, and for module you have to use load children. Okay, what is the difference between load children and children? Yes, so load children is used for lazy loading of module, but children is used to give sub navigations inside one particular parent navigation. Write a syntax of component and how to make it standalone. So we have to write that particular component decorator, and whatever inside that we have values, and export class, like this we have to write, blah blah blah. So, and how to make it standalone, so we have to give standalone true here in the add component decorator. But that was before 19 version. In Angular 19 we need not to give it, because by default it will be true. If you want to remove it as a standalone, then we need to give standalone false. What is decorator? Decorator are the special methods which are used to give metadata, and which tell Angular like how to process the particular element. For example, we have a class decorator. You can list down all the decorator: property decorator, parameter decorator, method decorators. So these tells Angular how to take it. What are the interceptors? Interceptors are nothing but the medium when we make any API call. So it is interceptors intercept the HTTP calls. We can answer like that. Interceptors intercept the HTTP calls. So these are useful for adding headers to the API calls, or catching the errors. So we can make our interceptors like token interceptor, error interceptor, for handling these scenarios. So what are the guards? Guards are used to protect the routings by giving our own custom guards. Like for example, we have CanActivate, we have CanDeactivate. So he asked what is CanActivate, what is CanDeactivate. So CanActivate will work before loading the route page. Whenever we navigate to particular page, this CanActivate guard will trigger, and whatever guard we have given to CanActivate, it will check in that whatever logic we have written inside it. For example, we are checking whether the user has token or not, whether user is logged in or not, and if it is, then we will like navigate it to the particular page. And CanDeactivate runs just before destroying the component. So when we are closing that particular path, at that time this CanDeactivate will trigger, and if we have written some logic like unsaved data pop-up or anything, then we can handle that in the CanDeactivate. So do you know about the signals? Actually, signals is the new thing from Angular 16, and we can talk about it also if you are working on it. I said I am not using much, so I gave some idea like how I am using it for like sharing data between components. What is the use of view child? View child is it is a decorator, parameter decorator, property decorator. So actually this one is used to access the child component or child directive properties into the parent component. So we can access everything you are using at view child. What is content projection? We use ng content for projecting content from one component to another component. What are the lifecycle hooks? Tell all the names. So he asked me all the lifecycle hooks. We have ng on changes, so we have to tell in the sequence wise. Okay, in first ng on changes, then we have on init, then we have do check, ng do check. Okay, remember this ng do check. Then we have after content init, after content checked, then we have after view init, then after view checked, and then last we have on destroy. ng, everything we have will have ng. Okay, so ng, these lifecycle hook, you have to list them, and they can ask also what a particular like lifecycle do. Have you worked on ngrx? He asked me. I said no, I have worked on Akita, but he did not have any question on it. And have you written any test cases? I said no. So he was okay to it. So these were few questions. It went for around 1 hour, and it was good actually, because he asked so many questions. It was a good experience, and I was selected also for the first round. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you have any doubts, please comment, and I'll make another video for the second round. Subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.